I'm Idiotech, and today I want to talk to you briefly about 8-Bit Armies. Now, this game completely flew under my radar last week. I missed it entirely. The game's been getting a reasonable amount of attention on Steam from some people, and everyone who's played it pretty much agrees that it's a great game. And I'm not going to say anything different here. It's a great game. If you have any interest in RTS whatsoever, I strongly urge you to pick this game up. The idea behind this game, and the developers told me this in an email, is to try and make an RTS that's appealing to more people. Something a little bit more simplified, something a little bit less frantic, and something honestly a little bit more fun than the hardcore RTS similar to StarCraft, or StarCraft, which is probably the most hardcore RTS on the market today. So what is the game? Well, it's a traditional RTS, and by traditional I mean you build a base, you build units, you send them to the enemy base, and you kill the enemy. Simple. Very easy to understand, very easy to get with, and in my opinion, the way RTS should be. So what modes does it have? Well, it has a campaign, it has co-op, it has skirmish, and it has multiplayer. Now, just keep in mind, this is a $15 title. They're also planning to release more content moving forward. It's pretty great for the price. So the campaign is, well, it doesn't have a story. It's essentially a tutorial. If you've never played an RTS before or you're unfamiliar with some of the mechanics, this will teach you how to play. You play a mission, it gives you 3 objectives, 1 primary, you complete them, you unlock a new unit, you get to learn that one, you move on down the line. There's 25 missions, I think, and you unlock all the units in the game. Now, there is only one race or faction in the game right now, but I think they have plans to release more going forward, so that will be interesting to see. Co-op mode. Basically the same as the campaign, but there's 10 missions this time, and you can play with a friend. Skirmish and multiplayer are virtually identical to one another. The core difference there is that you play skirmish versus the AI, and multiplayer obviously versus other people. You can play 2v2, 4v4, 6v6, and 8v8, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty great, and the map variety, while somewhat limited, is well designed. So, that's what you get for your money. How's the presentation? It's really solid. It has a simplistic art style, very voxel-like. If you've seen Minecraft, which I'm sure most of you have, it looks very similar to that. Lots of clean and stark colors. Now, I think they've done this for 2 reasons. 1, to make the game appeal and be more friendly and inviting, which I think is a good idea. And 2, to try and make the game easier to read. Now, in an RTS, it's very important to know exactly what's going on at any given moment, and the art style they've chosen here allows you to do that very easily, knowing exactly where the enemy is and what units they have. All that stuff's incredibly easy to do in this game because of the stark colors and simplistic design. So from a visual point of view, I think it's great, it serves the gameplay, and in my opinion, it looks great. As for the music, it's fucking fantastic. It reminds me heavily of the original Command & Conquer games. I think it might even be Frank Klepacki who's doing the music this time around. I couldn't confirm that, but it sounds great, and I want to buy this soundtrack immediately. So, before I give you my conclusion, let's move on to the gameplay. What are the core differences between this game and every other RTS on the market? Well, as I said earlier, they've tried to simplify the mechanics. What I mean by that is that if you build a refinery, for example, which is a building that allows you to extract resources so you can build more things. If you build one of those, while that's building, you can't build any other buildings. Now, the good thing about that is that it reduces a shitload of the micromanaging that you do in a game like StarCraft. In StarCraft, there are players, as I'm sure many of you know, who can play at 300 actions per minute, which is crazy fast. This game, you click a button and you wait 10 seconds for the building to build. It's a lot slower to play, but it also gives you the opportunity to do other things like scout the enemy, have some situational awareness, give a person some time to take in what's going on around them, and make the game a little bit more appealing to casuals, which is a good thing in my opinion. So that's one mechanical change. Another mechanical change is that if you build 3 barracks, for example, and you start producing infantry, it won't produce 3 infantry at the same time. It'll build it 3 times faster rather than building 3 units at once. You also don't have to select specific buildings to build a specific unit. You have a UI element on the right-hand side of the screen that gives you access to all units simultaneously. So, as I said, simplified, but in my opinion, a great improvement and a game that focuses more on the enjoyment of an RTS, what's fun about an RTS, rather than just the mechanical precision required to execute in StarCraft 2. Finally, I want to talk about the AI. Now, the AI in this game is actually incredibly competent, and I was surprised to see that in a $15 title. It's hard. If you play on hard or insane, you're going to have a difficult time, even if you're an experienced veteran in RTS, so that was great to see. Now, one complaint I do have regarding the AI is its behaviors. Now, in StarCraft 2, which is a good example of AI, they give you the option to choose aggressive or defensive or economic-focused AI, so you can choose a pattern of behavior. In this game, they seem to just be defaultly aggressive. They'll attack you early, frequently, and from different angles. They'll flank you constantly. Now, that's good in a way because it constantly gives you something to do, but they also become slightly predictable after a few games, so that's kind of a problem. It'd be nice if in a future patch they could add some different behavior selections so you could play against a more turtley, defensive AI, and then maybe a more aggressive one. So what's my conclusion? I think it's a fantastic little RTS, and I've really enjoyed playing it. I played a number of online games with a bunch of people, and it was fun. One thing I should say about the online as well is that you can't add friends, and that's kind of a problem if you're trying to build a community around the multiplayer. Having a multiplayer community in a game like this is kind of essential for keeping the game alive long term, so not having that there is kind of a problem. Also, the fact that it doesn't have matchmaking or ladders or things like that is also kind of a problem, and I would like them to patch that in moving forward. But other than that, it's a really solid RTS. It's a little bit more casual and a little bit slower than other RTS, but honestly that's a welcome change because most RTS seem to just carbon copy one another, and this game tries to do something different. And I really enjoy it. The presentation is fantastic, the music is fantastic, the mechanics have changed, but not significantly, not in a way that makes the game not feel like an RTS anymore. I strongly recommend it, I really do. If you've played RTS in the past and you've had fun with them, but, you didn't really get into them because maybe they were a little too hard or they required too much of you, I would strongly urge you to check this out. And if you're a veteran of RTS, it's really fun to just play on the side, casually. Something to take a little bit less seriously. It's a really good game. I strongly recommend you pick it up. It's $15 US right now on Steam. There you go. If you found this video useful or helpful in some way, please let me know in the comments below. If you disagree with something I said in this video, feel free to let me know also. And if you want to support my channel, please like, favorite, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.